Hi guys, let's talking about candlestick patterns. I showed you in the previous videos how I'm developing algorithm using candlestick patterns. So you could find this file like analyze candle. I share this file on my GitHub repository. This file analyze candle, and when we run this file, we could get some dependency with the best candlestick patterns, and we could analyze this data to make some decision. But maybe this part some difficult for some traders, and I decided to implement this main ideas into web interface. So we could use grid search, and we have two options: sequence and candlestick. So for example, let's analyze data using candlestick patterns, and I would like analyze data for 1 hour, and I would like to predict what happens with price when we have this event after next bar. If you want to analyze what happens with price after 2 bars, you could select this option. So the first we need to create our pivot table. It's very useful for us. For example, this is our hammer candlestick pattern, and this pattern has several values. For example, 100 means signal for buy, 0 it means we haven't any signal. And I combine candlestick patterns with modificate RCI. It means we calculate quantity of RCI and create 5 quantity. And let's analyze this data. So when we have bars with 1 hour, and let's see what happens with this strategy. For example, you see we have negative value. It means all data show us some negative results of backtesting. Let's test these ideas. For example, let's test data when we have RCI 2 and candle hammer is 100. Let's analyze this data. We select 100 and let's select 2, and when we have a negative value we need to select short signal. Okay, but for this case we have only 21 cases. Let's analyze what happens. Okay, so we have total return is 4%, but in this time benchmark return is negative more than 25%. Okay, so let's see what we have. Profit factor is very big. It's very interesting for us because, but we could understand we have a small size of cases. By default, I analyzed data for the last 3 months, but we could improve this data set. If you have some ideas, I could implement these ideas for you. Let's analyze, for example, what happens with when we have candle pattern after 5 bars, for example, after 5 hours. Let's calculate. Okay, it's very interesting situation like this when we haven't candle patterns and RCI is free. It's very interesting. Okay, and let's analyze the situation. For example, 0 and RCI is 0 also, and we should RCI free, I mean, because it's free, and we have negative value and we need short the situation. Let's backtest. Okay, so we have some total return. Let's analyze this data. Okay, we have some positive results, and we could analyze it using some measure like profit factor, win rate. It's very big win rate. Okay, it's very interesting results, and we could do some research. In my case, for example, I write all this result on my note to understand what happened with price when we have some event. It's very useful for me, for example. And let's do some another research of this candle hammer. What happened with price? Okay, for example, let's take 0, cuts 0, because we also have a big value for negative. It's in percentage, I mean. Okay, let's do back test. Okay, so total return 3%. Okay, it's interesting. Let's see what happens, for example, when we have signal 100 and RCI 1, and we have only 7 cases. Let's analyze the situation. Okay, but in general we haven't any some good results, because we have too small size of cases. Let's analyze, for example, what happens with another candle patterns. For example, like what's popular. I know belt hold is very. When I did a back test, for example, Harami is working. Okay, let's calculate. We do some calculation, and you see we have several signal like minus 100. It means by default for traditional technical analysis we should short signal, but our back test show us that we should also short. Okay, 100 for traditional technical analysis we should buy, and we also should buy for this situation. Okay, let's analyze the situation. For example, when we have signal for short, and I'm interested when RCI is free. Okay, now let's do back test. Okay, but I should short. Okay, so we have about 6% of profit. Okay, it's working. What is size win rate? Okay, win rate is very big because we have a small size of cases, but in general it's an interesting situation. Also, let's analyze another candlestick. What is popular? For example, shooting star. Let's analyze. Okay, for example, this value is interesting for me when we have a signal and RCI is 2, and we should short. Let's do back test. Total return for the last 90 days, and you could see what is time range. Okay, but profit line is not good for me. We should analyze maybe different situation. Let's do another candlestick patterns, free inside, for example. Okay, size is small. I need more cases. Let's analyze, for example, another morning star, for example. Okay, we also have only one situation and free situation. Maybe it's not interesting for me. Let's analyze the situation for 5 minutes bar. Okay, for example, we have 54 situation with cuts RCIs too, but we haven't any good results. Let's check it. So we should take 100 and RCI should be 2, signal long because we has positive value. Let's do what happens. Okay, we haven't any good results. It's too bad win rate. Okay, and we haven't any smooth line for profit. So you could create research and to analyze what happens with candlestick patterns to improve your trading and understanding what happens with price in the next bar or after 2 bar. So I'm continuing to develop and improve this functionality for you, and if you like this video, please put some commentary for me, and see you next time, and please subscribe on my YouTube channel.